Welcome back everyone. As you probably guessed from the title and the thumbnail, this is the gun that we're going over today. As of when this video is dropping, it's officially released. However, it has been leaked for weeks now. It was actually even at the Iraq Veteran 888 shoot a couple weeks ago now. So this is the new Canik MC9L, and as a bonus, we have the new Canik MC9LS. Essentially, they are the same gun with different length slides. As you can see there, the LS has about a ½ inch longer slide. It has about 1.5 ounces more of weight to it, but otherwise pretty much identical. Obviously we have an FDE one, all black one. They also offer combinations of both. So like an FDE frame with a black slide or a black frame with a FDE slide, etc. You guys get the idea, and you can go with whichever one makes your heart happy. So what the heck is it? Well, number one, in my opinion, it is sort of a do-all type of gun. It has a 17 round standard capacity magazine in there. It does work with all of the Canik mags, as you guys can see right here. Got a standard Canik mag. I think it'll work. We're about to find out. Works just fine. 20 round Canik mag. Probably me. I'm sure many of you out there, as soon as you guys saw the photo of this, thought of this gun right here. This is the SIG P365X Macro. This one here has the comped slide. I don't have the uncomped slide to compare it to, but as you guys can see, very, very similar in terms of dimensions overall. I should be rolling in the dimensions here on your screen so that you guys can check it out. But honestly, guys, in terms of how it would feel to carry it, it's going to feel identical in terms of that, in terms of the dimensions of the gun. And getting into the features, let's just start here at the bottom and work our way up. Like we mentioned, two 17 round standard capacity MECGAR mags come with it. It also comes with interchangeable back straps from the factory, so it's going to have your medium one on there. I put the large one on there because for me, I have relatively large hands, and what that allows me to do is it opens up a little bit of room in here for me to get more surface traction there with my support hand. And one thing that I think a lot of folks who look at it will miss initially is the fact that the magazine well is flared. It's not just flared internally like a lot of these guns are. It actually has a slight external flare to it as well. It definitely helps you get leverage on the gun. At least it does with my size hands anyway, because right there on that ledge, I am pulling down. Now there's a lot of companies, I believe it started with Walther, but several companies have copied this. I have put those ledges on their optics ready guns, and what they believe it does is it makes it a more natural pointer when you have a red dot on there. And the reason for that is most people, when they miss a red dot on presentation, they miss it high. And so that allows you to get that leverage there with your pinky when you lock it down. I can't say whether or not I believe that's true or not in terms of like, does it work in the real world? I do know many companies have stated that publicly though, as a reason they went for it. Now, continuing on up, the magazine release is nice and small. Exactly what I would like on a gun like this. There's no reason, in my opinion, for enlarged controls on a gun that is oriented towards concealed carry. And it is reversible. So as you guys can see there on the magazine, it is cut for both right and left side ejection. And in terms of that, also it does drop free as you would expect. The texturing on the gun is pretty good as well. Of course, we have it here on the side, and we do have it on the rear strap as well as the front strap. Those are the most important parts because the gun is pivoting under recoil when you're firing it. Checkering and aggressive texturing on the side is nice, but nowhere near as important as the front and the rear strap. It does a good job for that, especially since it is, again, oriented as a carry gun. Would I like it to be a little bit more aggressive in the front and the back strap? Yes. So if they ever come out with a Gen 2, just put that down as one of my recommendations. Continuing on up, we do have our slide release and slide lock lever. It is ambidextrous. When this one came in, it was a little bit touchy at first, and after shooting it, it's completely functional as you would expect right now, but initially it was kind of hard to lock it to the rear. After a couple magazines through it, that problem absolutely went away. This one here never had that problem. I don't know if it's just a Cerakote thing or something like that, a tolerance stacking, I have no idea, but I am reporting it because it did happen. Now getting into the actual trigger, as you would imagine, it's fantastic. Caniks tend to be known for very good triggers. This one here is no exception on that. We do have our trigger safety, which is that red portion right there. And then we're gonna pull into the wall. There's a little bit of creep right about there, and then it's gonna break. And it breaks very crisp, very tactile, very audible. It's predictable as can be, and the reset Very tactile, very audible, and you're right back at the wall. I mean, for a polymer striker fired trigger like that, it's excellent. You're not going to hear any complaints out of me on that one. Continuing on forward, we do have our takedown levers, so that way you can disassemble the firearm for cleaning and maintenance. I have a full video on how to clean and lubricate Canik pistols, so if you guys are interested in that, you can check that out. We're not going to do it in today's video to save time. I should note we also have a memory pad there up front, so that way your support hand grip has a reference point. I'm not sure that it really fits me. My hands are a little bit too big, but if you had slightly smaller hands, that probably would work out quite well for you. We do have a double undercut there on the trigger guard. Again, a nice feature that not a lot of compact guns have. And then we have that serrations there, serrations up front. And we have a 1913 spec rail out front. In terms of lights and lasers, you guys saw we had the O light on it earlier during some of the shooting portions. And of course, the Sig Sauer Foxtrot series does fit there as well, as you guys can see. I don't know how many lights are going to fit, whether or not, those are the only two I've tried, and they did work out just fine. I would imagine Streamlight TLR7 should fit. I haven't tried it yet, but if you guys know, let us know down below in the comments section. But it is 1913 spec, which is nice. It's not a proprietary rail, anything like that. Continuing on to the slide, let me switch the pistols out so that way the MC9LS gets a little bit of love. You guys can see on there, the slide itself is Cerakoted, regardless of the color that you're going to get. And underneath it, it also is nitrocarburized or nitrided. So you're going to get good surface hardness, good corrosion resistance, but you also have the Cerakote finish on there to make it look nice and even. I know that is something some of you guys dig, some of you guys don't. Either way, it is there for you. And in terms of durability, it's a very proven system. The Canik finishes are very good. You're not really going to see any reports of anything else there on the internet if you go poking around. The rear sight there, it has a square notch and it is serrated to prevent glare. Front sight is a big old white dot, and that is absolutely something I like about these pistols. The previous METE MC9, I think, was the first one they rolled that out on, and I really do dig it. I'm someone who tends to be target focused, and that big white dot does help me align it quicker than something more subdued. That's just my personal preference, or how I see the sights. It may be different for you. And the slide, of course, is optics cut for that Shield RMSC pattern. On there right now, we have the Canik optic. This is their micro version of it. We have the Canik Gen 2 that we've been using now for, probably 6 or 7 months. We've had no issues with it at all. This one also problem-free to date, but that is not an endorsement. We're gonna have to put a lot more rounds on there before we can give you an official verdict on there, but it is a new offering from the folks at Canik, so interesting to point that out. On top there, we do have a loaded chamber indicator, so that way if there was a round in the chamber, it would be protruding and you could tactily feel it even in low light. I do like that type of loaded chamber indicator. I'm a fan for sure. Looking at the front sight there, of course, like we mentioned, all steel, big old white dot to draw your eye into it. Before getting into the important stuff like price point, reliability, those sorts of things, we do need to thank the main channel sponsor, and that, of course, is the good folks over at Brownells. Again, as I'm recording this gun hasn't officially been released, but I would imagine Brownells will probably have these in stock when this video is live. Additionally, they'll have the ammunition to supply it, spare magazines, different optics if you guys want to go that route as well, lights, lasers, etc. Brownells has all that stuff. Big thank you to them for supporting the channel here. Now, onto that important stuff, reliability. So far we have about 600 rounds through both of these pistols combined, probably 400 rounds through this one, probably 200 rounds through this one. I'm giving a rough estimate because I haven't exactly counted, but I did count how many boxes of ammo I pulled out for it, and it's 600. So there is that. The reason we have more through this particular one is I personally just like this one a little bit more. Reliability, though, just so you guys know, has been 100%. The vast majority of the ammo we put through it has been Minuteman 124 grain 9mm. However, we also put some hollow points through it. You guys can check that out. Got some 115 grain S&B hollow points. See how it runs that. No issues. So again, reliability 100% so far with these pistols. I also shot one down at the Iraq Veteran 888 shoot, and that one had 0 issues as well. It was getting shot all day. I did not see a single malfunction with it, at least not that I observed anyway. So reliability seems to be pretty good. It's kind of what we'd expect with Caniks at this point. I have all the Caniks I think that have ever come into America. I only had one that ever had reliability issues, and that was because the spring was a little bit too hot. If you guys remember that, they changed it immediately, and now it runs just fine. So this one, again, these two rather have been 100% reliable to date. The reason I have a little bit more rounds on this one is I personally just prefer that lighter slide under recoil. For me anyway, it seems to track a little bit better. Of course, this one's kind of an unfair comparison because we were comparing it to a red dot mounted version versus an iron sights, but just from a recoil impulse perspective, I personally prefer the way this one feels a little bit more. Just again, you got about 1.5 ounces less mass reciprocating. Will you actually notice that? Unless you're shooting them side by side, probably not. This one, of course, has a shorter barrel, so you're going to get slightly less velocity. I can't give you the exact numbers because it's going to depend on the round, but roughly you're going to get about 50 feet per second more with this one, with the long slide version, than you would with this one. Whether or not that's going to matter to you, it's going to depend on the ammo and what you're shooting at, I suppose. But for me, I prefer that faster follow-up shot, and this one allows me personally to get that. Both of them are priced the exact same. So the MSRP is $499. Street price, I would expect them to be roughly $400. Again, we don't know at this point, but that's where I'm expecting them to come in at, and I think they are a lot of value for the money. Again, the gun that they are competing most with, in my opinion anyway, is going to be the SIG X5 series, the SIG P365X series, if I could speak. They're definitely going for that do-it-all type of gun that you can carry all day and not be bothered by. It's not super heavy. Like this one's 22 ounces, so very easy to conceal. I know most folks these days are carrying appendix as well, and if that is the case, then this portion, the grip portion, the length of that really doesn't matter to you, and the thing rather that matters more to you is going to be the slide length. I don't know which one's going to sell better. If I had to guess, it would be this one, but I could be totally wrong on that. If you guys have a preference between the two, let us know down below in the comments. And I think that's pretty much it. I should mention Canik USA did send these out for review. That's probably obvious because I had them before the announcement, but full disclosure on that, they did. And with that, guys, we're going to close the video out. If you're not following me on all my social media, you should be, because we are getting censored on many places that we are posting, but not all. If you guys are following me on Twitter, Truth Social, pretty much I haven't noticed any censorship at all on those platforms. I definitely dig that. Not so much true for the Meta platforms, but we keep pushing on. Mark Zuckerberg just said he's a libertarian, so we'll see just how libertarian he is as to how they handle my Meta accounts going forward. Additionally, guys, if you guys haven't signed up for my daily deals email, you can do that at the website here on your screen. It goes out every day, as the name indicates, and it has 8 of the best deals that we find around the internet. When these things are in stock at the best prices, they will be in there, along with other great deals on ammunition, optics, lights, lasers, all of those sorts of things in the daily deals email. You can also sign up for an email list at the website here on your screen. This email goes out once a month, and it has all the videos since the previous month's email went out, so that way there's no big tech giant censoring your eyes from my content through an algorithm. Additionally, we also have an SMS service now, and I know a lot of you millennials out there don't have email and don't check your email, so that is a good way for me and you to keep in contact through your SMS service. So there is that. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you all for watching. I truly appreciate it. I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.